Now hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another Swiss001 video. In today's video, we are back in the Nepalese mountains again. Yes, welcome to the infamous Nepal. Now, today we are, of course, as always, in the middle of the mountains, because that's what Nepal is. Yeah, we have the Himalayan mountains here, and actually we are at quite a high elevation. This is at 9,200 feet. And this right here is the small village of Semikot, or Semikot? I don't know. But of course, even a small village like this needs its own airport, which it has, which is pretty good. Actually, with this village especially, the road access is extremely bad. Like, I mean, you know, where can you even build a road that properly works? I mean, here, like, genuinely. This is like on top of a mountain as well. This is not in a valley like normally. This is like really hard to access. A plane doesn't have that much of an issue with it. And of course, especially small planes like probably the Cessna 172. But let's see about that. This plane doesn't really work, does it? Oh yes, now we are on top of the 650-meter long runway. This is not a very long one. That's what she said. And especially considering this airport's altitude of almost like 10,000 feet, which is pretty crazy. That's like almost 3,000 meters. That is not a lot of runway we got here. But let's see. Maybe it's enough for something like the Cessna. Honestly, with this plane, you can actually start to struggle as well, because this is like not a very powerful plane. This one, it does need quite a long runway for a takeoff at altitudes like this, because as I've said in a lot of videos before, altitude does definitely affect an aircraft's performance. So this small Cessna 172 might actually struggle, especially with some weight on it, but alright, this one actually worked quite well. Alright, never mind. Perfect. And there we go, we have a pretty safe takeoff, and a landing won't be that much of an issue either, of course, because this is a very slow plane. Now, a plane that you actually do see flying here all the time is, of course, the infamous Twin Otter. You know, there's no way of getting around that plane. Yeah, welcome aboard the DHC-6 Twin Otter, a plane that often flies here. We actually have another Twin Otter here on the ramp. This one is owned by the airline Nepal Airlines, which actually flies here in real life. There's actually 4 airlines that fly here. There's also Sita Air, Summit Air, and the infamous Tara Air, which actually this Twin Otter is owned by, as you can see right here. These are like the 4 major airlines that fly at these small remote islands here in Nepal. There's quite a lot of these places, and they all pretty much use this plane actually, because it's so perfect for this place. It is a VTOL plane, meaning that it doesn't need a runway, pretty much. There we go, like we could just take off without any issues. There we go, that was a nice takeoff, and we still have a lot of the runway left. This is a very strong and powerful turboprop plane that can actually carry quite an amount of passengers as well, and we almost hit the mountain with our wings, but this was a pretty nice takeoff. Another plane that's used here a lot is the Dornier 228. Actually, in 2011, a Tara Air Dornier 228, which also flew here. That one crashed at this place, which is quite ironic, isn't it? You know what, let's actually go for Tara Air then. Let's not recreate that thing, but you know. The Dornier 228 is very much similar to the Twin Otter, as you should already know. This is also a strong, powerful turboprop plane. Alright, welcome aboard the Dornier 228. As you can see right here, this one can actually retract its landing gear, which is very, very cool actually, because that does make quite a difference in speed. Let's go ahead and there we go. There are also reverse drives that you can actually pull in mid-air in these planes, which make them very much versatile. You can even fly approaches like this with planes like this one. There we go. You know, in like a jet or something, it would have never worked out as well as it did here. There we go. That was a very bad landing actually, but we haven't crashed like the other Dornier 228 here. There we go. That was a perfect landing. Oh, wow. Alright, that may have been not that perfect, but the plane survived, and that's all that matters, right? You know, I always like to go for vintage planes, like the Junkers Ju 52, because that one can carry a few more passengers. It's quite a lot bigger, but these planes don't really require a long runway, because they are pretty old and slow, meaning that they don't need a lot of speed for flying, which is obviously better for short runways like this. So let's just go for a vintage plane and see how that works. By the way, that Dornier Dornier 228 ironically crashed because of a hard landing. I've just read it here. Alright, that was actually quite a good representation of that flight then. Now this airport, it is the main tourist gateway on the Nepalese side to Mount Kailash. I've just read the whole Wikipedia article. It's not very long actually. That's actually quite a thing here. When you're a tourist in Nepal and try to fly to like places outside of Kathmandu, which is the capital city, you're gonna fly in some pretty small turboprop planes to quite remote places, and especially if you want to go like hiking or something, or maybe even the Mount Everest, you're gonna end up at airports like this and maybe even end up dead, but that can always happen. I mean, you know, the hike itself is a lot more dangerous than the flight, so, you know. How many people die per year on Mount Everest? I don't even know. Let's just go ahead and land this German plane. See, this plane, it's so old that it still measures speed in kilometers per hour, which is something that only gliders do, you know, when you cannot afford an engine. So yeah, this plane, it is pretty old, but let's get it landed. This is a tail dragger, right? So we don't want to, you know, crash this one. All right, come on. You know what? I'm actually very much pleased with this result. This worked out very well. As you can see, this plane, it can transport actually quite a few more passengers as well. May not be that much of a safe plane and powerful plane. I mean, these are not turboprop engines, obviously. But whatever, this landing worked out perfectly fine. And actually, that was like at least mediocrely smooth, right? Now, that was pretty nice. By the way, you can also fly here by helicopter if you'd prefer that method. But you know what? Let's not care about all this stuff. Let's go for a jet plane. You know, in this case, it's probably appropriate to fly something like the PC-24, maybe even the rescue version of it. Let's just imagine someone got badly hurt in the mountains, and for some reason helicopters cannot fly here. So now the rescue PC-24 by Pilatus has to fly here. The PC-24, of course, a classic.
130, 20, 10.
There we go. And of course, that was a pretty good landing as well. See, the PC-24, it is a very quick stopper. It does not need a long runway. Actually, it doesn't really need a runway at all. You can land this on grass as well if you try. There you go. That was perfect. So let's try an airliner now. I don't know. I feel like crashing something for once, you know. All the flights so far have been very much successful. So let's try something like the 737. The closest airliner livery that we have to Nepal is Air China, so let's just go for that one. All right, so we have definitely moved up by quite a lot. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Oh, that was really bad. Jesus Christ. Let's see this again. There we go. Yeah, I tried using the most runway possible. The spoilers didn't come out for some reason, but that probably didn't make that much of a difference. And boom, right there. We did impact this mountain with a speed of over like 100 knots. Oh, just the sound of it. But alright, let's maybe stay a little bit more realistic then. How about an ERJ-145? More of a regional plane, more of a smaller plane, but still a jet plane. You know, that is actually fast at least. Alright, welcome aboard the Embraer E-145 in an Alitalia livery, because of course they fly that plane here.
50, 10.
Oh, we just impacted the mountain a little bit. It was only for testing purposes. Terrain warnings is what you get a lot here at the airport, because we're genuinely just flying against a mountain now at this point. Yeah, that's what this flight is. Alright, come on. Stop. Alright, you know what? This was actually perfectly fine. See, you can even fly something like an ERJ-145 here. No problem about that. Any bigger plane, of course, doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, guys, thank you for watching today's video. And I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night.